Good afternoon, everybody. I am Mahesh Sharma. I have come from Semiconductor Lab, Chandigarh. First of all, let me thank Dr. Kusuma Rao for inviting me here and giving me opportunity to present my work in front of you. And let me thank my director also, who has deputed me here along with my colleague, Mr. Jayaram Singh. So this is the first slide depicting our building only. This is our administrative building in SEL. So before going to my actual subject, I would like to discuss something about Semiconductor Lab. Semiconductor Lab is an autonomous body under Department of Space, Government of India. We are engaged in research and development area of microelectronics. We have a wafer fabrication facility along with design and development facility at SEL. We deal with CMOS and MEMS devices, and we are doing the designs and manufacturing of fabrication of ICs being used for launch vehicles and ISRO applications mostly. And apart from this, we are also doing some work for national importance, like we are giving support to Indian Air Force and Navy helicopters. We have developed some devices for them because after the disintegration of USSR, India stopped getting any support, any after-sale support from Russia, because some factories were located in different parts of USSR. So we were not getting any support for our Indian Air Force aircrafts. So we are giving those support to them as a strategic layer of Government of India program. So these are the outlines. We are working, right now we are working in 180 nanometers wafer fabrication CMOS devices, 8-inch wafer sizes there, and mixed micro electromechanical systems, MEMS wafer fabrication lab is a different lab apart from the CMOS lab. Apart from this, packaging, testing, screening of high reliability devices are also being assembled in my organization. So I am heading this division, that's the last point, System Assembly Division, that deals with the subsystems and radios only. So let's start this radios only, which takes care of atmosphere pertaining to the subject of today's job. So Prashoti Sonde system, that Prashoti Sonde, Rama Prashoti Sonde was a physicist who was called as metallurgical man of India. So he started study of atmosphere first in 1940 or something like that. So based on his name, we have named our Sonde system as Pisharoti Sonde system. So this is also called GPS radio sonde. This is used to measure atmosphere pressure, atmosphere parameters up to height of 40 kilometers. So let me give you, this is the exact system which we are using. So this is the balloon to which the radio sonde, this is GPS sonde. GPS sonde is tied up with the balloon and it goes into the atmosphere. We fill hydrogen and helium can also be filled up in this balloon. But being helium very costly gas, we use normally hydrogen. But filling with the hydrogen has so many challenges, like it's very inflammable gas. So a lot of precautions have to be taken care with, while filling up the balloon. So this is our GPS sonde system. So this is on this sonde system goes up into the air, and this is the receiver part of that. So these are the two, in the receiver part there are two antennas, monopole antenna and QFH antenna, and LNA also there. low noise amplifier, and then this is GPS antenna, and this all goes into a receiver. Receiver is there, and this receiver is hooked up with a computer. So there are basically two sensors which goes into this GPS, this sonde, that is temperature sensor and humidity sensor, along with the GPS module. So GPS module will tell you the location of the balloon, where it goes, and that with the GPS coordinates we calculate the pressure also in the atmosphere. And pressure sensor, this temperature sensor and humidity sensors, I will explain you which type of sensor we are using and what is the accuracy and all those things. So all that data is being transmitted from this sonde to the ground station, and this ground station gives data in frames to the computer, and all the processing is taken care of this PC. So this is a low cost system. So pressure, these are the basic specifications of the system. Pressure is the range of the pressure measurement is 0 to 1100 millibar with accuracy of 1.4 millibar, and temperature -100 to +50 degrees. Because -100 we have shown because it goes up to 40 kilometers. So up to 40 kilometers, the maximum temperature we have attained is -80 degrees. But we can achieve -100 also in our sensor. And the accuracy is ±1 degree centigrade. Humidity is 0 to 100%. Accuracy is 5%. And wind velocity, wind parameters are also calculated with the GPS module. So the wind velocity accuracy is 0.1 meters per second. This wind velocity is very, very critical for our launch applications. So whenever a satellite is being launched, that is called day of launch, we keep on sending sondes into the atmosphere after an interval of 20 minutes before the launch. So if the wind parameters are up to the point, up to the specifications, then only the launch takes place. Otherwise, launch may get postponed also. So wind up to 10 kilometers, the ascent of the launch vehicle is very important, and the wind plays a very important role in that. The features of our system is there is no custom-made ICs. All commercial off-the-shelf components we have used, assembly components, no tuning elements, there is no tuning of any capacitor or inductor. So ease of manufacturing and very low cost. The cost of this system, solder, is around 9,000 rupees only, and this balloon part, this is 9,000 rupees only, and the whole system, this ground station, will cost around 5 lakhs rupees. This is one-time investment, and this is a recurring investment. The solder which goes into the air will not come back to you. So it is just experiment only. So if anybody can use this in I suppose so many schools have come for this workshop. So I think they have a good opportunity to show the students about how it works, and they can purchase all these equipments from us. So the onboard system, that is the sonde system, that has temperature and humidity sensors and GPS receiver, and then that is digital modulation is being done, and the frequency range is 400 to 406 megahertz with 17 dBm power of that amplifier. Then the quarter wave monopole transmitting antenna is there, thermal protection box is there. I will show you in my demo, and then battery for powering this instrument. So total shelf life of this battery is 2.5 hours only. It gets exhausted in that experiment, because when the temperature is so low, the current is very high over there, so it gets exhausted. totally. So ground station and display software, this is auto tracking with dual antenna system. I also explained you. Then this dual channel, we have given two antennas because one is monopole, other is quadrupillar. So I will explain this behavior of these two antennas. Why we have kept two antennas in this. And the FSK receiver sensitivity is minus 117 dBm. That is good enough for a distance of around 50 kilometers. Up to 50 kilometers we can get a signal out of this. The processing and display software is a window-based, very user-friendly. No special computer is required. Only a simple software patch is required. With this patch you can see the processing and display of the radiation. Now, as a comparison, I have put this slide. There are so many internationally sondes which are available. Dr. Grar, that is the weight of this sonde is 250 grams. Vesala is 270 grams. Messi, that is Japanese, this is 150 grams, and our radio sonde is only 100 grams. 100 grams means less gas will be required in the balloon. You don't have to fill more gas, so it is more economical as compared to them. Also, you can see the weight of these. So less gas and more economical for this one. Now this technical details, onboard system. These are the two sensors, and we are using analog to digital converter. These sensors are giving output in analog form. We are converting it to digital form. Then it goes to microcontroller, and then transmitting an amplifier. And this GPS module, this gives input to microcontroller, and it binds this with the microcontroller, and microcontroller again gives to amplifier. This is the battery along with this. So data acquisition system, single card system. This is a single card system only, consists of sensors to measure temperature, pressure. While pressure is calculated parameter. Earlier we were using pressure with this sonde, but we were not getting so good results because there are pressure pockets in the upper atmosphere. Very low pressure somewhere, very high pressure, and abruptly the pressure will change. As you must have observed during your journey in aircraft, some jumps are there in the aeroplane. So those jump is due to low pressure area in some pockets. So those low pressure areas were not being captured by this radio sonde because the response time of pressure sensor is high as compared to the response time of temperature sensor. So, but the GPS is good enough to calculate the distance of the displacement of the sonde, upward direction, downward direction, sidewise direction. So then we removed the pressure sensor from the sonde, but calculated this pressure with the GPS parameters, and then we conducted an experiment with pressure sensor and without pressure sensor. So we found that the without pressure sensor parameters of pressure readings were well within the range, and they were more accurate as compared to the sonde with pressure sensor. And recently we have also noticed that all the internationally known sondes, they are not using pressure sensors in their system. So the voltage output from the sensor circuits are given to the sigma delta analog converter, that is sigma delta ADC. I think the students must be knowing this sigma delta technology, which converts analog signal into digital signal, and the microcontroller initiates ADC as well as reads data from ADC according to each channel. This ADC can have 4 channels, but we are using right now 2 channels only. But the third channel can also be used if I put a temperature sensor inside the thermocol protection box. That will give me temperature of inside of the thermal protection and outside temperature. This whole my explanation will be more clearer to you when I show you physically about the system. This is the temperature sensor. Earlier we were using RTD temperature sensor. That was not so accurate. This is thermistor bead. The size of the bead is, you can well imagine, 40 micron, that is 0.04 mm is the size. Very, very small. It's very difficult to see with the naked eye. So the thing is, when a thing goes into the atmosphere, you must be knowing there are radiation factors which affect the things. So the minimum the mass, the minimum the self-heating due to radiation effect. Earlier we were using RTD, that was bigger in size. So bigger size means more thermal mass, so more radiation effects, so more self-heating, so less accurate temperature results. This is very small, that's why we are achieving very accurate temperature results. The range is -200 to +200. And the nominal resistance at 25 degrees centigrade is 1 K. And the dissipation constant in still air is, you can see the dissipation constant, 0.15 milliwatt per degree centigrade. This is very, very less, negligible. Very negligible. There are so many steps which are to be carried out before putting this temperature sensor into sonde. That first of all, that is calibration. Calibration of each and every sensor, temperature sensor, is being done, and that is being done by my colleague, Mr. Jairam Singh. He is expert in calibration facility of RS sensor as well as this temperature sensor. That is another chapter, humidity sensor. So humidity sensor is a the humidity range is 0 to 100%, and operating temperature is -40 to +85 degree. You can see this is -40 only, but as I told you earlier, the sonde can measure up to 40 kilometers is -80. The first question in your mind would be that how will it measure at humidity at -80, because this cannot operate below -40. So I would like to tell you that after -40 degrees centigrade, there is no humidity practically. Practically there is no humidity. It will give error, EEE results. I can show you the results. Black result are coming. So there is no humidity about after below the -40 degrees centigrade. Then the accuracy is less than 3.5%, and the response time is 15 seconds typically. So you can see the response time of temperature sensor. It is not written. The response time of temperature sensor is 1 second, and the response time of humidity sensor is 15 seconds. It means it will change the reading after 15 seconds. Yes,
so for overshoot of water droplets during thunder activity, it will not shoot the water molecules. But there are some evidences from MSC radar during overshoot of thunder clouds. There is an exchange of water vapor from surface to the troposphere side, even beyond that limit.
No, it will not show any humidity below -1. It will not show. Or if the humidity exceeds 100%, it will give you 99 point something.
Okay.
Then this is a GPS module. We are using Bordeaux Gartner, that GPS receiver module. So it gives us time, latitude, longitude, altitude of the. It means the geographical position of radio sonde, and the wind along with the pressure is calculated from this. So this is 3 3.0 to 3.6 operation, 12 parallel channels, update rate is 1 second again, as earlier in the temperature sensor. This has an integrated patch antenna and sensitivity minus 146. So sensitivity of my radio sonde is minus 117. This is having minus 146. It is even more this can sense up to the more distance. So the transmitter is used with this thing, MMICs and fractional and NPLL. You know the concept of this NPLL, phase lock loop? No. Means once I tune my radio sonde at a particular frequency and tune my receiver ground station at a particular frequency, both will be locked as well as the transmitter is in line or inside of the receiver antenna. It will keep locked. It will not be unlocked till the system is okay. Suppose there is no power in something, that is a separate issue. But if the system is okay, that is called phase lock loop. That is phase lock loop. So this is operation is 2.3 goes to 3.6 operation and low current consumption, that is given. So this is the spectrum of my carrier. You see, this is 403 megahertz. So these are the waveforms. So this is the spectral with carrier waveform. This is the carrier waveform which we are generating into the IC, from the IC. And this is the modulated waveform. So after the modulation, this carrier is converted into this. This our 403 megahertz has ridden on this carrier wave as a horse rider rides a horse. So our carrier wave is you can assume as a horse, and this is a rider on that. So it will go up to the larger distance with low power. Okay? Otherwise, it is not possible to transmit 403 megahertz at a very high distance like 40 or 50 kilometers. These are the transmitter specifications. We are using FSK modulation, as I explained you, frequency deviation in this 5 kilohertz. The carrier phase noise is minus 90 dBc and output power 99 dB. So these are the two antenna, transmitting antenna we are using. Quarter wave monopole. This antenna is being used in the sonde system. 403 megahertz, then 4 megahertz is the bandwidth. Bandwidth is 80 dB, gain is only 2 dBi because we don't have to give much gain at in this antenna because that is going upward. So less gain is also acceptable to us. Then VSWR is 1.5. So this is the ground station. This ground station we will demonstrate to you outside. Actually these two actual antennas are these two antennas, which are to be mounted at the rooftop of the building. But being a very heavy structure, we have not brought with us. We have brought a smaller patch antenna, which I will show you outside. And this receiver we have got, and this is the PC. How it works, I will show you. This is the inside structure of the receiver. Different modules are there, receiver module, LNA module, and all this power supply. This is TCP/IP cable module, so which interacts with the PC. We can see outside. This physically we can see outside. I explain there. In this, the features of these ground stations are auto tracking. There is no need of any movement of the antenna. You must have seen somewhere that antennas are being moved to the different directions that what you say, are rotated in a direction in order to see the transmitter. So here you don't have to move it because we have both monopole and quadrifiller pattern. I will show you the low cost AC/DC operation. It can work in AC also, and it has a power backup also for 3.5 hours. Inbuilt rechargeable battery with battery charger is there, and less maintenance. I will show you this is the gain profile of monopole and quadrifiller antenna. This is for QFH, and this is for monopole. Suppose I launch a radio sonde from this location, for example. It will go up, it can go here, it can go there, or up, then wind can take it anywhere. So in that vicinity, so if it goes anywhere, it will be tracked by these two antennas. This is the idea of showing this slide. Because these two antennas will take care of its movement and it will be cached by the ground receiver. So these are the two antenna structures which we have not bought with us, but this is the physical structure of that. This is QFH and this is monopole. So this is all made in house. This pipe is just you must have seen air conditioner connection from indoor unit to outdoor unit. So this pipe is from that only, and this is that plastic pipe, and we have mounted this cable in such a way that it forms a pattern of this radiation pattern as I showed you earlier. This is all in-house development, nothing from the market. This is the block diagram of that receiver part which I was explaining you. This is monopole antenna, this is LNA in that low noise amplifier, then FSK receiver, decoder, again QFH antenna, these two. These two are giving their inputs to the controller unit. Then the controller unit will give input to TCP/IP, which is connected to PC. So these two antennas, wherever the receiver, this sonde goes, it will catch and give the two outputs in the on the PC. Suppose by any chance one receiver fails or some obstruction has come, very high rise building or very high tree is there. So other will also track. Other will track. Suppose one fails, other will take care. So whichever power is there, we have to take as a reference. So we can ignore that. If we are getting only one reading instead of two, then also it's okay, because that reading will take care of everything in the sonde. Then this is power supply, charger and main supply, nothing like that, more than that. These are the specifications of our monopole and this thing, quadrifiller antenna. So our design was such a beautiful design that VSWR is less, we have kept less than 1.5. VSWR, are you familiar with this term, VSWR? Voltage. Because when we transmit some signal, very low signal at very high frequency in a wire, it gets reflected back due to mismatch of impedance. So the mismatching of impedance should be minimum, so that losses are minimum. So this we have kept ratio, we have kept very low, optimum value 1.5. It is not more than 1.5. So this is the exact structure which, this is the this thing antenna which I explained you, and it will go in this structure. This is monopole antenna which you have seen in the earlier slide. This is a very heavy metallic this thing enclosure is there. This is LNA, and this is that pillar on which it has to be grounded on the rooftop. The weight of single piece, this and this, is around 25 kg. So both of them were weighing about 50 to 60 kg. So with packing, it goes up to 80 kg. Because we have to give some cushions and all those things, proper packing, wooden packing is there. So it was not possible for me to carry along with me. So normally when we send it to the customers, we send through truck. So that is the only way of sending this to the consignees. This is the LNA which we have discussed. Then, processing and display. This is a software which is designed in-house. The software provides user-friendly acquiring, processing and viewing, analyzing, achieving, archiving, metrological and GPS data transmitted by GPS receiver. GPS parameters. There are 21 parameters which are being transmitted from the sonde to the ground station. So this is a real-time storing, numerical, tabular and graphical display, offline processing and display. You can, because this thing launch site is normally away from the city. Because we cannot launch this sonde in absence of permission from air traffic controller, ATF. We have to take permission from Air Force because 40 kilometers means any aircraft can come in between. So when this is transmitted, you can store the data in the PC and then take it in a pen drive, and then that pen drive can be processed and offline processing and display can be done in another PC. So that's a good feature of this, because there is no need of going there at the launch site. The multiple windows can be operated simultaneously, means so many sondes can be sent into the balloon with different frequencies. The frequency I showed you was 400 to 406 megahertz. So each can be tuned at interval of 0.5 megahertz. So 400 megahertz, other one 0.5 megahertz, third one 401 megahertz, like that. So all the sondes can be flown from one location, and one single antenna, one single receiver will catch each and every parameter, and that can be processed later on. No problem in that. The calibration coefficient programmability is also there in this. Real-time display with the receiver status is also given. So this is the window which we will be getting. I will explain you outside. So this simple any program window operative program is there. So it will give the window like this. Now we have done comparisons with respect to radar, our sonde. This is the comparison which we did in 2008. This is the radar and this is done by VSSC. So you can see the curves, they are perfectly matching with radar. Means our GPS data which we are getting through this VSSC and radar. Radar means another technology which is giving the status of balloon in the air. So both the things are perfectly matching. You can see there is no change in, no deviation in readings. Means the GPS data up to 40 kilometers is showing exactly the same.
Radar, which radar? Radar, which one?
Actually, ma'am, this was carried out in 2008 from SHAR.
Tracking radar. Tracking.
Tracking radar. So,
No, I think.
What one?
That is not tracking radar. That is use profile.
No, no, that is only wind only they have taken.
so these are the giving this wind this thing graphs with east-west wind and north-south wind directions. So these are the essence from SHAR, exactly same. Now, then we compared our sonde with Dr. Gra at Naval Base Kochi. So these are the readings. This is the Prashoti sonde and Dr. Gra is blue. They are also matching. Only the difference came, some difference came in humidity. There is a slight difference in humidity, but temperature and pressure both are same. In the temperature graph, you can observe that say at 40 degrees we started and it keeps on decreasing at this height. Then it increases also. Can you explain me why this increases? Anybody? No? Why this is increasing temperature? Because of radiation effect. Because from this area, ozone layer comes into picture. After the ozone layer, it goes, and ozone layer is a protective layer for Earth. So if you go beyond the ozone layer, there is no protection from radiation from the sun. So that's why temperature is increasing. And this is the pressure. Pressure goes on decreasing with the height. No issue in that. Then comparison of ground sonde from this Kochi, this is the wind comparison, that's matching. Then comparison with Vesala. Vesala is very reputed sonde internationally at IMT Delhi. So this we have done in 2010, latest figures. You see, both are matching, but here again there is a difference because we have not done so much work with respect to humidity sensor in SEL, but it seems Vesala has improved a lot with humidity. You please see, after this there is constant line is there, means there is no reading of any humidity over there. But we are reading something, but that's also error. This is error. Because after 40 kilometers, after minus 43 degrees centigrade, humidity is not there.
What's the difference there on the humidity? Example, at 1,000 kilometers or
at 1,000 kilometers.
no, not 1,000.
This is time.
Half there is where you see the largest difference.
This.
Somewhere there. What's the difference in humidity?
No, actually the reading which we don't know whether the Vesala reading is okay
That's
or
why I'm
not.
asking, what's the difference in humidity that you project on the scale there? How much is the difference?
15%.
15 plus something like that.
Less than 15.
Less than 15.
Less than 50.
This is almost zero. Almost zero.
Okay.
But we are giving say 15, around 15, 14, 15. So, but we are not sure whether this is okay or not.
No,
Because
you have to calibrate Vaisala also in some other way.
yeah, we cannot calibrate, yes, you are right. And there is no other method even to evaluate this.
So what you can do is take both Vaisala and liver probe, put it in a humidity chamber which reduces to that humidity and see whether there is difference.
But how to create humidity and we don't have any.
You can do do it at
No,
room temperature.
no. We don't have any facility which can create humidity at -40.
Let's create that.
How? I don't know, sir. You please help me. There are no chambers available. Which
No, what I'm saying is there is no reason to believe Vaisala.
Yes,
Why
you're right.
should you believe?
You're right. There is no reason to believe Vaisala.
There is no reason to
Yes.
dispute this thing.
Yes, that's okay, but that's what I'm telling you, sir. The thing is, Vaisala, we have not applied for any international approval.
But humidity
Till now.
control chambers are available, no?
Pardon?
Humidity control chambers are available.
That's okay, sir. They are available, but humidity can be generated at positive temperature, not in negative temperature. Negative temperature up to -10 we can generate at any lab. There is no equipment available in the world which can generate at -40 or -50.
So don't therefore give any weightage to this difference.
You cut off that portion for comparison. That's it.
Sir, how to or we can give E like that, adder like that only. But how to counter them, that's the main question, sir, because they are whenever we participate
So
in any
then
IMD,
they will have to come to you with a humidity chamber at that temperature. For example, the temperature is how much is there at that height?
-40.
-40. At -40 they have to bring a humidity chamber which has a certain humidity. You can then measure with both the things, Vaisala and yours.
That's okay, sir. That's okay, but it's very difficult to convince IMD fellows, who had come yesterday. They are telling Vaisala is the ultimate, and you are lagging behind because we are Indian. They are important. That's all.
IMD people think that they are the supreme authority.
Yes. Because we are not able to convince them, sir, because they are telling that they are okay. You achieve that target. How to achieve? We just fail to do this.
So you take the two other things, for example, Vaisala and the GRH or whatever, the other. Compare those two.
Those-
Same difference will be there.
Yes, Gra we are matching, but not with Vaisala.
No. Bra and Vaisala is to be compared.
Again, sir, they will tell that imported is better, Indian is not good. That is the thing, no?
The sensors, they are made, the temperature and humidity sensors,
We are not making,
not imported, right?
importing, yes. We are just calibrating. But this is all calibration game. So whosoever is able to do calibration in a better way will give better performance. So this is the weight comparison. That's exactly you see.
What's the error in the GPS position?
GPS position that is around 3 meters. 6 meters. 3 meters.
But you are achieving 0.1 meter per second, you said, in velocity.
Velocity we are achieving because we are using that gradient forms, no? In slices form,
Okay.
height in slices form when it goes up. Thank you. Any question?
Sir, while launching actually, preferably GPS will go bad during thunder activity compared to other sensors. I am using GPS on this actually for Bangalore. Temperature and water vapor content will measure still last minute actually. But
GPS will not tell you temperature and humidity.
No. Temperature sensors are there. Whenever we launch by mistake actually during thunder activity, actually when we launch there are no thunder sites. Doesn't matter. After a few minutes the balloon will go up. Actually, the first failure is within the GPS.
First failure will be GPS.
GPS will
Which
go back.
GPS you are using?
Whatever the GPS is not there from your SL only.
You are taking from us?
Yeah, through SHARP.
Sharp.
Yes.
But sharp people never reported any failure.
You have the old receiver?
Yeah. No, both B2 and B3 versions both are there actually. We reported to the shop rather than coming to direct to the CN.
But we never got any adverse.
Maybe I will share the data actually. That also reflects actually. 2 hours the temperature and humidity sensors will work till the last descent actually. Okay. But that also we can say that during thunderclouds and thunder activity, GPS will go back.
How are you sure that GPS has gone back?
Because GPS signal will not get, that will not give LATLAN actually. LATLAN will not get the LATLAN, but will get the data, will receive the data. Data quality is also good. There is no failure of the data quality. Data quality also we assess in terms of decibels. Strength of the data signal is also.
There may be 1 or 2 stray cases, but nobody reported us.
Some
this
4-5 times.
You please share the data.
Yeah, sure. 4-5 times it has happened, but we intimated to the shop, particularly that Ashish Ghosh group.
You are getting from Ashish Ghosh?
Yes. We had about almost 180 launches from Bangalore University. 180.
Okay.
From last 2
What was the failure?
Failures is about 5, only 4 or 5. That's right.
4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
That's very less.
Then very less, but he suggested that don't go for launch.
Don't
Don't go for launch whenever thunder activities are there. Whenever thunder activities are there. Okay, we took it to his consideration actually, his suggestions. But still, after when we launch actually, because we were not supposed to lose the information, we thought of analysis of that point. We'll share the data with you actually. What is the reason for not keeping the pressure sensors at later stages? Earlier sensors were with pressure sensors were there. Now
because I told you that computation data is more accurate as compared to with pressure sensor. Because pressure sensor calibration is done at positive temperature only.
Okay.
That
And everybody calculates.
What madam?
Everybody calculates.
Everybody calculates. Okay.
And the behavior, when you see the actual behavior of the sonde, it will measure. It has to measure pressure at negative temperature.
Okay.
So we are not doing any calculation for negative temperature.
Okay. Fine.
That's the main purpose of that. And pressure is calculated. You must be knowing that hydrostatic equation. So hydrostatic equation will take care of temperature as well as this thing, humidity.
Okay.
So mostly humidity is not there, that upper height.
Yes.
So that will not play a much major role. Major role is temperature measurement.
Okay.
So earlier we were getting temperature error at a very due to this thing radiation effect.
Okay.
Since we are using, did you use thermistor bead also in your sonde or old version you have used?
Old, no, thermistor bead only.
Thermistor bead only?
Yes.
So that thermistor bead will take care of that temperature.
Okay.
So that temperature will be considered for calculation of pressure in this hydrostatic equation.
Otherwise, receiver and other part is very perfect actually.
Yeah.
It works very fine.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sharmaji. Now, thank you. And now we have a demonstration of the same which has been organized outside. So we will all go.